everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, Reign of Superman Steel. Steel is a Superman supporting character that first showed up in the Death and Return of Superman, Reign of Superman. He's the first one actually dubbed that in his sort of normal, traditional look. I hope they make the whole team in these looks, but time will tell, I'm sure they will. I ordered this guy from the McFarlane toy store, and he finally arrived today. There's also a Platinum Chase variant of Steel out there. If anyone knows where I might be able to get one, let me know. I'm definitely interested in one. I was fully caught up with the Platinum Chase variants for about a week, which is a pretty long time in the McFarlane DC Multiverse world. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Steel. Here he is in the package. He has his signature giant hammer, display stand, and collector's card. One side of the package, Steel from Reign of the Supermen. Other side, Steel. At the bottom, here's his barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, we have an image of Steel. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now with this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He has a display stand, collector's card, and of course, his signature hammer. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Steel. His real name is John Henry Irons. At one point, Superman saved his life, and then when Superman died, he decided to take it upon himself to build his own sort of Iron Man type suit made of steel. He has flight and super strength, and he decided to protect Metropolis. After Superman came back, he continued to sort of help Superman. This McFarlane figure doesn't appear to have any reuse. It looks like all new parts, and that's pretty cool. So looking at his face here, sort of blank face. You can see all the sort of bolts at the top connecting the helmet together. He has the Superman logo at the front to honor the fallen Superman. He's got armored shoulder pads, big red cape, little belt here. Now the only thing missing about this guy is he doesn't have any sort of, I don't know, armor type pieces or metal here. You can see his abs, very well sculpted. He has, I believe, sort of a blaster here. As a whole, I think this figure looks fantastic, very well done. He's kind of tall like the Hush Batman, as he should be. The suit makes him a lot bigger than a regular person. Double jointed knees. Nice detailing around the sort of shins and ankles here. Double jointed elbows. As a whole, very happy to add him to the Superman family and Superman team. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It looks kind of blank, made of steel. I always thought this guy was really cool, filling in for Superman, taking it upon himself to defend Metropolis, and he was kind of cool in Superman the Animated Series. Detailing is very smooth. I like it. I think it looks good. Now Steel kind of has this blue stuff all over him. I don't know what it is, or if it's an accident, or if it's supposed to be that way, but take his head for example. You can kind of see some blue dots here. On the side here, he's got blue on his belt, on his hand here, and his fingers. I can see more of that blue stuff. I don't know if it's some sort of energy going through him, or if it's just sort of a mistake. A little bit on his knee here. It definitely doesn't look like it's supposed to be there. I don't know. I didn't really notice it until I looked at him a little more thoroughly. I see there's a little bit more on his shoulder here, on his foot. Sort of crotch area. I mean, it's just all over this guy, and I don't really know what's up with that. Now, looking back at the pre-order pictures, he has that stuff on him too, so I guess it's sort of blue energy of some sort. Now for his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane stand. They could have given him a flight stand, as this guy does fly, but you know, whatever. It's very thin, very basic. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Steel in his steel armored suit, holding his hammer with his cape fluttering in the wind. Steel from Reign of Supermen. On the backside, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Here's his hammer. The hammer is weaponized and described as self-propelled. Steel made this himself. As you can see, the handle is quite warped. McFarlane sometimes has a bad habit of making their weapons very gummy. This one here is very bendable, and I get it. They do that so it won't break, but sometimes it just makes them warp and bend very easily. You can see the bolts at the top. It's got some imperfections in it. Like I said, he made this himself. different areas where you can grip it on the handle. I'm going to take some hot water, straighten this thing out. So I did it in some boiling water, took it out, sort of held it straight while it cooled down, and it's a lot straighter than it was before. For Steel, holding that hammer, he can hold it with one hand, and he can kind of hold it with two. He has one gripping hand, but the other one he can sort of lay in there to support it. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessory. Now let's check out his height. He's a big guy. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing about 7.4, maybe even 7.5 inches tall, which can translate to just under 19 centimeters. And now for his articulation. And I'll warn you, I don't know how your Steel is going to be, but mine had a bunch of stuck joints, which is not usual for a McFarlane figure. Put them in hot water and it's like night and day. A lot of the stuff got totally freed up. So, starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. You can look up, not too much, down, pretty good amount. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Now, shoulders are very loose. I mean, look at that. Disappointing. They go up, down, around, then come out a little bit more than 90 degrees. The shoulder pads are soft. They pretty much get out of the way. Now, he has sort of what looks like drop-down shoulders. Here they are down, and there they are up. Now, it's just because the area is so big in his armpit. He has this butterfly joint, which is going to increase the range of motion and cover the large gap that would be there. The large gap is what causes the sort of fake drop-down shoulders, and it's really a fake butterfly joint at that, but it does give you a ton more articulation and covers up the big gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that, double-jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. In his torso is ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. For me, the bicep cut and the waist was pretty totally stuck on this guy. Between the two, pretty good range of motion in the torso area. I definitely got a lot more out of the torso than the waist. Legs complete to splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is pretty good on this guy. They go forward, really not very much. I mean, if you sort of rotate them, they go forward a little bit more. Back, not much either. Double jointed knees. And then his ankle, and this is kind of different. Forward and back. Little bit of tilt rock. No rotation really, but that's why I think they gave him so much rotation up here. And of course, toe articulation. Here's a look at Steel busting through a concrete wall. The ruins of the Daily Planet around his feet. Death and return of Superman, indeed. The new protector of Metropolis. Now let's check them out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Superman and related figures. Here's Steel next to the Superman vs. Doomsday 2-pack Superman, which I originally thought was the death of Superman, but I believe it's actually from a Rebirth encounter versus Doomsday. And here he is, next to the Return of Superman figure, which looks nothing like Superman did in the Return of Superman except for the mullet. The body is way too big. It is accurate to other versions of Superman from the 90s, but not the one it's labeled as. Here he is, next to the Eradicator and the Con-El Superboy. Now all three of these guys are from the Reign of Supermen, but the other two are different versions. I do expect in the future McFarlane to release the Eradicator and the Superboy from Reign of Supermen, but these guys are from more recent incarnations. Here are all the different various Superman family members McFarlane has made. These are from different eras. We have the John Kent Superman, although I personally use this as Superboy. Then we have Supergirl, and then Steel, then the Con-El or Connor Superboy, and then of course Crypto the Superdog. Now there are a bunch of other Superman supporting characters that they haven't made, and they probably eventually will. And here, next to several more Superman figures, we have the Action Comics 1000 Superman, the Hush Superman, the Page Puncher Superman, and the Henry Cavill Superman. Now let's check them out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to Lobo from the Amazon exclusive Deluxe Space Hog set. Here's Steel, next to some recent Target exclusive Jokerized stuff. And here he is, next to some more Target exclusive figures. We have Red Tornado, Animal Man, Midnighter, and Wave Rider. Then, with some recent Walmart exclusive Gold Label figures, Black Lightning, Owlman, then the Vampire Damian Wayne and Hal Jordan. And now, next to both the regular and the Platinum Chase variant of the Collector's Edition Wonder Woman, here's Steel, next to McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 3, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Captain Carrot, Superman, and Batman as Green Lantern. And here he is, next to the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Black and White accent Aquaman and Joker. Then, next to McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Sketch, Line Art, Black Manta, Deadly Duo Joker, Patina variant of Merciless, and the Heath Ledger Interrogation Room Joker. And now, next to the Batman and Robin movie wave, collect a build and Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. Then, next to the Target exclusive Flashpoint wave, collect a build of Cyborg. And now, with the Injustice 2 Superman, and both versions of Brainiac. And finally, with the Dark Knights of Steel Batman, and both versions of the Jim Gordon Batman. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start with my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Here's Steel, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some DST or Diamond Select toys. And here, next to a packet of oatmeal. Then, next to some DC Direct, and some NECA figures. Next, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. Next, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Then, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, next to some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, Steel's a very cool figure. I think the sculpt is good. The articulation, it's lacking in a couple parts. Something about his feet, his ankles, his hips, it's just a little bit less than I'm used to with a McFarlane figure. Shoulders are a little bit loose. The drop-down thing, it's not good. It's not horrible, but it's not good. His hammer, a little bit too soft. McFarlane needs to tone down the gummy weapons. Now, I don't want them to be completely stiff. I can't tell you how many Predator Spears I've broken from NECA, but a little bit more of a medium would be nice. But like I said, the sculpt is good. I like the fact that it's a regular version of Steel, not some sort of different version like they did with Eradicator or Superboy. This guy is ushering in the reign of Supermen team, and I hope they complete it sooner rather than later. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10, and at first glance I wanted to give him an 8 out of 10, but some of the articulation issues just kind of holds him back a little bit. Still, it's a very nice figure. I'm really happy to add Steel to the team, to the roster, to the Superman family, and the Justice League roster. I've always been a fan of Steel. I always thought he was cool, just a guy who took it upon himself to defend Metropolis and sort of take care of things while Superman was gone. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.